Oh, welcome back to Project Seawolf. I'm in rainy, dark Washington again. Just got back from our first trip down to California with the U-Haul and everything. But today, I'd like to keep working on the rudder and the bowsprit. So, the first order of business is to make sure that the material of the rudder shaft is actually stainless, or if it's aluminum. If it's stainless, I need to buy some 316 stainless TIG welding sticks because I need to make sure that it is at or higher quality of stainless than what it already is. So I'm not too sure on the material of it because when I was cutting away the fiberglass, I was able to make some pretty deep gouges with the oscillating tool on accident. So that tells me it might be softer than I think. So I just want to make sure I just want to make sure it's stainless now. Classic way to tell if something is stainless or aluminum is if it has a weak magnetic pole. But with stainless, it's so weak, it's hard for me to even tell. Yeah, I'm not even sure. Here is some scrap aluminum, no magnet, no pull at all. Here's some scrap 316 stainless, and I can definitely tell there's a bit of a pull. So there is a yeah, I can definitely tell there's some pull with the magnet there. But on the rudder shaft itself, it's so, if there is a pull, it's so weak, I can't tell for sure. So I've heard the other way to tell is besides connectivity, like how readily it conducts electricity. Another way to tell is if it sparks or not when you grind it. So I'm gonna grind some aluminum and I'm gonna grind some stainless and we'll see the difference. All right, got the grinding wheel, and I'm pretty sure this piece is aluminum given all the pitting and everything. So let's see. Yep, no sparks whatsoever. Stainless. I'm pretty sure. Maybe. Alright, that definitely sparked. Yeah, okay, so this is stainless then. I mean, it's a relief that it's stainless in that I know it's going to be more difficult to break than aluminum, but that also means I'm going to need to order some 316 stainless welding sticks. So I will get those in the mail now. Yeah, I've been working down this hole and man, it is not looking too good. So definitely need to build this up with some more stainless welds. The stainless TIG welder setup. I'm going to do beads all up and down this whole area to really shore it up, because it doesn't have to fit into the boat until I think like around here. So this is kind of exposed up here, so I'm not too worried about it. And I'll just grind back the fiberglass chunks that I took off so that they fit back over it, and everything can be all fiberglassed on again. But I would like to build this up a little bit before I put the fiberglass back on. Well, welcome back to the boat. Finally, it's been a few weeks actually since I've been able to come back on the boat because it's moving to California. So I think today would be a good day to install the anchor locker floor. So that's gonna be this bad boy. I've already laminated this side so that I don't have to get it to stick against gravity. And this side I haven't laminated because I want to put a big mat of biaxial over the top of it after I tab it in. So today I'm going to prep the surfaces in the anchor locker along where I'm going to put the floor and make sure it all fits well with the new chain plate that's in there for the bobsleigh terminal. Tab it in and then lay some very thick layers of biaxial roving over the top so that it can take like 1,000 pounds, I hope. Because that amount of chain that I want to carry, 100 feet of chain, hopefully, or more, plus the seaway bounce is going to be a lot of pressure. And I want to make sure that this is pretty solid and well supported. All right, so today, yeah, the anchor locker floor is what we're going to be working on. And so I've got my friend Martin behind the camera. I just met in the yard. He's got a Westsail 32, pretty cool. But to start today, we're going to clean up this this edge with the little finger grinder, and that'll create a nice surface for the fiberglass to stick to. Yeah, the foam and everything is already cut. I just need to prep the surface now. And that's it. Every once in a while you can film me grinding the, cleaning up the stuff and everything. Yeah, the floor's gonna butt up right against the bottom, so I just want to clean that up as best I can. So as I was grinding down the fiberglass and prepping the surface, I wanted to have a better guide of where the new floor is going to be. So I'm going to take the Sharpie and go around inside there, and that'll mark out where I'm going to be attaching the new fiberglass, and where the floor is going to be tabbed in. So how it's all going to fit together. Now generally you want your drains to be at the lowest point, so I'll put them as low down as I can. Is it above the drains or on the drains? Can you tell?
Barely see it, but I think it's above.
And you can feel the through hole. Yeah, I can feel above the through hole, so I know there's space there. That's good. Mark along the wall with the Sharpie the approximate edge of the tabbing. That will hold it in place.
Perfect, now we can see.
So just going around the edge. It's going to probably set a little bit lower when I'm finished cleaning up the fiberglass, but I definitely want all the paint, all the old anchor locker grime off of everywhere below where the Sharpie mark is. Yeah. So down to where I was grinding. So I definitely need to be going higher with the grinder all the way around. Cool, okay. So that gives me a good idea of spatially. So there's another tool, the oscillating tool. Do you know what that looks like?
Yep.
It's a saw blade. Yeah, that'd be great if you could grab one of those and put a battery.
And where is it?
It's underneath the whiteboard. Sweet. I love having other people on the boat. We got the new anchor locker floor here, and I've taken out my fiberglass rolls. And this is biaxial roving. It's a lot thicker, structural type fiberglass. And then we've got the chop strand, which is really good for adhesive and holds on to a lot of epoxy. So it creates a nice seal, and it really sticks to everything. But for the actual structure of the floor, we're gonna want this on top of the floor, and I've added a lot of extra space in the back where we have a lot of adhesion space. Up front, because of that chain plate, we don't have a lot of, we can't have a lot of extra material, but I'll be able to come in from the other side, put thickened epoxy around the edges, and also tab it in with chop strand. So it will all end up being sealed and rock solid, which is something I say a lot on the channel. But yeah, just gonna cut this out, and then it'll be ready to go. We still have a little bit more prep work for the fiberglass up in the anchor locker. We've ground down all the big stuff with the finger sander and multi-tool, the oscillating tool. But now I'm gonna go over it with a random orbital sander to get it all smoothed out and make sure this fiberglass fabric has a flat spot to stick to. Alright, it's pretty smooth sailing from here, so we're just going to clean up with some acetone, spray it on, wipe it off. Usually when I do this part, I notice some parts that I want to sand down a little bit more. Let's see how it looks cleaned up. It's always nice getting to the end of the power tool part. So we've really smoothed it out and knocked back any paint along where we're going to be working. If this paint line doesn't, if I think it's going to get in the way of the fiberglass, I'm going to knock it back some more. This is going to take a few seconds of grinding, but at some point I need to take all the paint off this entire anchor locker so I can repaint it. I know this new floor is going to line up pretty much with the end of the wall here. Now that we've knocked back the tabbing, it's not going to be as easy to wedge in. Sweet, okay. So we found out that the acetone is a lot heavier than air, because if we stick our heads down in here, it's very, very strong. So, but we figured out a way to get this to lay flat, the new floor to lay flat, and we clamped this piece of wood, which has cardboard on it, and I'm gonna put some more cardboard down to make sure that it sits well, that the new floor sits. I'm losing it. Sits well above the valves and has enough space to slide the new tubes on. But I think this is gonna work out, and we'll just put the chop strand tabbing on today, and in the near future I'll lay the big one down, because to get the big piece of fiberglass down, I want to be able to roll it onto the Davini cell foam so that there's no bubbles between the fiberglass and the foam. Really jury rigging things together today. So I do want the back aft side to be as low as possible, and I want the forward side to be as high as possible. It's still a little bit high on the starboard side. Another piece of cardboard maybe. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to tab along the sides tonight, and then tomorrow I'll grind down this little leading edge to make sure there's enough space here, and I'll tab it in from underneath better than I will the other places, because I don't want it to be fiberglass onto the backing plate because I want the backing plate to be removed if I need to. Yeah, okay. We'll tab in the sides. I'm just gonna measure with the dry fit. And you don't even need scissors for chop strand, you can pull it apart. Like thick bandage sizes, a couple inches. And this tabbing is basically just here to make the floor stick hard enough so that I can roll on the actual structure of the floor later. Then I'm going to use this other piece to measure another length that I'll cut from the roll. Hey-ya! Okay. This one is a side piece, this one is the back aft piece. Probably makes people itchy to watch me do this without gloves. Okay, so now it is epoxy time. Before I even touch the bottles, put the gloves on. So this is 2-to-1 epoxy. So this is the 2-part. I like putting in the hardener first because the hardener sits on top if I pour in the resin first. So I get a first little mixing if I pour in the hardener first. Okay. So then double that in resin. Yeah. Okay. We're using Total Boat high performance epoxy with slow hardener, which gives me more working time. Not that I really need it for this particular job. Yeah, I'm running out of epoxy. I definitely need to order some more. Just make sure it's thoroughly mixed. Because I'm not really pouring it, I'm not too worried about bubbles. I'm painting it on. But if it was thickened epoxy, I'd want to avoid making bubbles, because if you have bubbles in your thickened epoxies, cavities for moisture and air to expand and crack. But this stuff is just getting painted on. All right, let's get these tabbing done. So I have a pretty rough idea of where everything's gonna lay. So I'm gonna paint those areas first with the resin. This also seals up any micro abrasions, if there are any. Wet the surface first before putting the glass down. So if I was trying to do this with biaxial roving, this tabbing would not sit or would not bend very easily, conform to the shape that I want it to. Because this chop strand stuff is held together with some sort of chemical that melts with epoxy, so it kind of turns the whole thing into soup and makes it way more malleable when it's soaked. But the biaxial has a lot of structure to it and does not like to conform to corners especially. I may need to mix up a little bit more epoxy because I want this to be very, very much so soaked. The reason why I like to use a brush is because I can really control the pressure, and if I use the tip of the paintbrush, the fiberglass doesn't stick to it, and it would rather stick to the other fiberglass or the surface, which is what I want. Because there's nothing worse than picking up the fiberglass tabbing with your brush or whatever you're using. Let's see, where's the other piece? There it is. Yes, I think it'll be good to do this in multiple steps, getting this stuck in and making sure the floor is really stuck in before I start putting all my weight into rolling the stuff on top of it. Also, this will help with the seal between the floor and the hull. Excellent. Oh, that's gonna look good. All wetted in. And we are in the home stretch. The stickiness of the epoxy is doing work in keeping the floor in the same place now. Wherever I see fibers, I press them down into the epoxy. Even if it's on the paint, I'm just gonna, it just makes it cleaner. Something tells me that the drain in this corner is gonna do more than the drain in this corner. By the way it looks. I mean, maybe I'm partial to paintbrushes because that was what I majored in undergrad, was painting. It's my tool of choice for everything. Just gonna press down the corners a little bit because that's notoriously a place where the fiberglass wants to come off of, except for right here because the fiberglass is super thinly attached right here, so I might bring some fibers over from another place and put it there. But if this was like the final tabbing, then yeah, I would add another piece right there and complete that connection better. But because I'm coming back tomorrow and we're putting way more pieces on top of this, I'm not too worried about it. It also comes to a point where it looks good enough and I should just let it be so that I don't mess it up and push it off too much. Oh, for all you in the comments, how do you do the cone in the middle to do the anchor chain wrap? Because somebody commented before about putting a cone in here, and I was wondering if you just get a traffic cone and you place it down here or secure it down somehow, or if you build a cone out of fiberglass or what. Because I would like to use that to keep the chain from bunching in here. And if it's just a little traffic cone, then that's awesome. I'll just put it in here later. But if I need to be building a cone, I need to know about it. Okay, I think that looks good. All right, so I think we have it tabbed in, which is a good. It was a good goal for the first day, and once that is cured, then we're gonna have a nice solid platform to put on the biaxial roving, the big piece, the big heavy duty stuff. I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank everybody on my Patreon. Thank you guys for supporting the channel, and thank you to everybody in the comments and watching the YouTube videos all the way through. It really helps me out, especially now doing this project while I'm living both in California and Washington. It's a lot of running around, but we're on track, we're on schedule to make this the boat happen. And again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.